Good afternoon, everyone. The amplification continues. We got the volcanoes, we got earth cracking, forest fires, meteors blazing through the skies, floods, rock slides. Modern infrastructure is just not keeping up. And you wonder, with the deployment of solar panels across the deserts, is this adding to the effect? And I wanted to start you off with California here. Falling into the ocean? No, but this is a major crop growing area on the planet. If we were to lose this in the United States, there would be less of a United States, i.e., please grow your own food. We're looking at the earthquake. Speaking of California, 6.3 Vanuatu, California 4.1, but then we got the 7.0, 7.0, 7.2 in Peru, and a 6.7 at South Africa, but all downgraded. These were significantly larger USGS. Thanks for massaging the numbers. You wouldn't want to show an uptick in the intensity, would ya? Now, California State Farm approving another massive rate hike, 50%, or even some places doubling, or they just cancel the policies in general. So you got to think, if you can't own a home because you can't get insurance for it, well, you abandon it and somebody else will buy it. The list of fires is short and well known. But why would I say that? Because fires in unusual places. New Jersey is not the place you'd normally think of forest fires, but here it is. Shockingly. New Jersey? Again, could they designate some of these areas fire risk zones and no longer insure them? No insurance, you got to sell, and you must leave. New York City bridge stuck due to heat. This is one of the bridges that swings and allows vessels to transit through. They're trying to spray a bunch of water on it to try to, I guess, relieve the expansion off the metal. And you can see how this slides. It's stuck. Well, for a moment, I bet they'll try oil next, or they could just wait until winter. What it does show is that even with our most modern designs in engineering, they haven't taken into account the extremes, now have they? So finally, Statista put out a Farm Bureau Federation update on price of goods after 4th of July. Now, we knew it was coming in. I'd done a video before 4th of July. What's it going to be for the price up? They say 30% from 2019, but even with those numbers, I think that is suspect, because I believe it's a lot higher, especially with things like ground beef and chicken. And you have to wonder about the substitution of the different items like ice cream. How much more cellulose are they putting in that now versus what they were in 2019 when costs were lower. There's a lot of switching of product ingredients going on. And then after that first video of the funny kid just super shocked that his prices were 4 times higher ordering off of Walmart, here's another one, $70 in 2020, and now it is $165. So that's more than a doubling. So that last 30% chart you did, when across the board people show that a few years prior, everything has doubled at the minimum, plus. So, these numbers seem to be massaged as much as the USGS numbers. President Trump warned the US dollar is crashing and will no longer be the world standard. BRICS, attracting more and more countries and moving away from the US dollar. A global de-dollarization trend accelerates. Gold is security in times of uncertainty. Call the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. And Patriot Gold Group has an no fee for life IRA, where your IRA or 401k could be in physical gold or silver. No fee for life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Give them a call, 888-546-7020. And now on with the video. And while the world tries to convince you not to eat burgers or steaks, here we go. If you are going to consume it, it's the first time you're going to consume, enjoy. Grass-fed beef has that more deep red to it than grain-fed. There's a distinct difference. So those wanting to see quickly at a glance as you're cruising through your supermarket aisles, darker red, grass-fed. And really, what could be said? Well, this seems to be a trend, and identifying the problems is one thing, but coming up with the solution is another. It's going to be multifaceted, as I've said before, for many. Even a basic, how do you know how to install a root cellar or something under your home or around your home that could be put into a hillside to then preserve or extend the life of fruits, vegetables, potatoes, this sort of the canned goods. What can you do to implement? I mean, it's not going to be just you putting things in a freezer. What if your electric goes out? So we're going to have to think back to the old ways, similar to what our grandparents did. I'm just trying to look back in Roman era. What did they do? What did they do in 1850 in the Wild West out there? What was routinely done in Scotland in 1420? Something like this is the way we need to think about rolling back the clock into the simplicity that has survived through the ages, that exists from thousands of years ago until now, that's still valid and still works. A root cellar is one of those. I'm just putting it on a list. Everybody's got a different list. So, challenge your mind and see what some of the solutions might be for you and your unique situation. This is just going to intensify from here. So solutions are definitely in need at the moment. Because as if we look at the earth cracking, this is in Mexico. We've seen quite a few earth cracks in Mexico over the last couple of years, but a new one has appeared. And with the drone footage, you get a good idea. It's probably 10 to 15 feet deep in some areas, but it extends quite some distance. Now, this is just one fragment of it. But if we look down in Venezuela, also they've had these strange rock slide formations. We've seen something similar in Japan, and we've seen it a few other places where rocks are actually moving down the hills. Pakistan had a couple good videos, something similar. But then at our skies, these giant fireballs are starting to roll in. This is in Turkey. And you thought, okay, well, that's one. And then we're looking over in Japan, we actually see one, and then there's two coming in at the same time. That was a volcano cam picking that up. And then we look in downtown Budapest. Wow, can you imagine looking, you're up in the castle watching sunset and you see that monster come in? That's like a Chelyabinsk window shaker. This is all this last 1 week. So think about the intensity of space debris also increasing. A sign of the times. This is fuego, again, off of a drone and one of the observation cameras at the Volcano Observatory. Nature is powerful. Then we got Stromboli, which has been viewed by millions so far, but this is the first time USGS mapped it out with infrared with the Italian volcano agencies. Also, I forget the exact name of them, but they put out this dual side-by-side so you can see truly how ferocious and pyroclastic flows are. They just melt everything in their path. These things are no joke. Not that I'm near a volcano, but if you are ever in the situation, know they are very dangerous. And then these floods. All right, Ho Chi Minh City, they get floods every year, but not to the point where it floods the entire city, 2 to 4 or 5 feet deep, washes away thousands of motorcycles, strands millions of people in their homes. And then this is not normal, not at all, even for the monsoon season. And then the videos I've been doing on the Chinese crop losses here, Dongting, this is one of the levee breaches. But take a look at the size of the trucks, and that's rolling into the farm field. That's just a non-stop cascade of water overland into the farm fields times hundreds. This is happening hundreds of places. So crop yields, and especially the first rice crop, early rice crop is what they call it in China, devastated. They're going to lose probably 15% of their total rice production this year based on these floods alone. Then we're over here in the Netherlands with the shelf clouds, these amazing fronts. I mean, these are just power from nature coming through. And here's China's newest solar panel farms out in the desert. So you got to wonder, what kind of bending of atmospheric patterns could result from something just like this. Then we look over into India also, and the vast solar panel arrays out there too. And I would look regionally and see which things are being bent or changed by the new tech we're installing. But for a moment of zen on the rice fields just planted. This is when I was in southern Taiwan. Taking a look at their flow-through techniques on water and water management. Just a second to reflect on the amount of changes that are instant and happening right now, and how we will and need to deal with this, especially on an individual and a community basis. Statewide, that that is something so far out of your control. So what can you control right around you? Well, your property, your neighbors that are there as a group, other groups within the same city, and wider and larger groups themselves of people with the same interests, hobbies, and beliefs. And again, with all the changes and people really soul searching for the next moves, Milton Berle, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. That should be our mind frames moving through this, because the opportunities may not be there. You're going to have to create them or create something out of need to solve another problem. So I do appreciate you watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Share with friends and families. Everybody is really primed to have these types of conversations, because in real time, most people across the planet are watching it shift in real time. So there's no longer convincing people that there's changes or something's wrong or just not right anymore. Everybody's seeing it, feeling it, sensing it, living it. So these types of conversations are way easier to have. So I encourage you to reach out, start with your friends, family, others around you, and see if you can work out some solutions together. Talk to you next time. Bye for now.